when the angle was inside, we took our two arcs that are intersected, add them, and divide by 2. The opposite of inside is outside. So instead of adding, we're now going to subtract. We're going to skip number 9 and come back to it after number 10 because number 10 is a little more basic, so you understand where I'm getting my numbers from. Number 9 jumped a little off the cliff, but it's still a great question, and we will get to it. So we need to know arc 1, which could be this one, and then arc 2, which could be the other one, or you can, it doesn't matter actually. Well, yes, it does. Outside, inside, down. So I always think about a subtraction, and we're working towards our angle. So we're working this way towards our angle. So I need arc 1. This is arc number 2. Subtract them, then divide them both by 2. Their difference by 2, and that'll give us that angle. So to figure out what arc 1 is 360, because a whole circle, minus 112 is going to give me 248. So that means I know this is 248. So I'm going to take 248 minus 112 divided by 2, and that'll give me angle S. So 248 minus 112 is 136. Divide that by 2, and that gives me 68. So angle S is 68. This angle on the outside. So if it's on the outside, you're going to take largest arc minus smallest arc, divide by 2. And you take the largest minus the smallest because you can't have a negative angle measure, quite obviously. So before we get into algebraic ones, this guy, so we don't know what this is, but whatever this is X. This is 360 minus X. I about wrote it backwards, sorry. 360 minus X would be the other part. So 360 minus X, because we know the full circle is 360. So we'll take each one. So arc 1, 360 minus X. Then we're going to subtract X again and divide by 2 should give me 50. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get 2 off the bottom, as always. So it's going to be 3, and we can clean this up because this is 2 X's. So 360 minus 2X equals 100. We're going to subtract 360 to get rid of that because we're solving for X. So negative 2X equals a negative 260. So divide by negative 2, and X equals 130. So this one should be 130 degrees. Your GE, the smaller arc, is 130 degrees. Sorry, I fell off the screen. Kept going. So our answer to this question is 130. And again, it's 360 minus X because we know that the full circle is 360. This is our unknown. We can name it X or whatever letter you want. So this is the arc. Subtracted this is the length of this outer arc. Now they get a little furrier. I'm going to do number 12 next because number 11 gets really big and I don't want you to panic and freak out. So 172 minus 102 divided by 2 equals 5x because it's arc 1 minus arc 2 divided by 2 equals our angle. Like if we were traveling this way, working towards our angle. So 172 minus 2, or minus 102 is 70 divided by 2 equals 5x. You can do 70 divided by 2, or you can multiply both sides by 2, which give me 10x, and divide by 10, x equals 7. X is 7 in this case. Again, on the outside, when it's the angle is on the outside and you're solving for angles, it's arc 2 minus arc 1 divided by 2. So 23x plus 24 minus 8x plus 26 all over 2 is going to give me 6x plus 14. So this is a real monster of an equation. Now, this 8x, this minus is going to distribute all the way through. So that's going to make that a negative 8x and a negative 26. So now I have 23x minus 8x, and I'm just putting together the things that match. 24 minus 26 all over 2 equals 6x plus 14. Pause the video and see if you can clean that up and come up with a good answer. So 23x minus 8x is going to be 15x. 24 minus 26 is going to be negative 2. I'm going to take that 2 and get rid of it. Multiply both sides. So this was by 2. 2. I distributed all the way through. Now I'm going to solve. Subtract 12 from 15x. I like my x's to stay large. Add 2 equals 30. Divide by 3. x equals 10. So for number 11, x is going to equal 10. Your biggest probably mistake most people are going to do is forget to distribute that minus if you even get that far. But again, don't panic when you have binomials. You just plug them in exactly like you would as if they were numbers. Big arc on the outside minus little arc divided by 2 gives me that angle. So again, when the angle is outside, so in this case it's arc plus arc, we'll call this x. So 160 plus x, minus because it's on the outside, minus because it's on the outside, add when it's on the inside. So it's 160 minus x over 2 equals 60. Now, you may be able to do this one in your head with some logic and some canceling of things, and depending on how much trial and error you did in your previous math classes, this one might not be too bad. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get that 2 out of the basement or out of the denominator. So these are gone. And I end up with 160 minus x. Be careful because it's a minus x. That's like it's a negative 1 in front of that x. Equals 120. So I'm going to subtract 160 from both sides. So 120 minus 160 gives me a negative 40. So negative 1x equals a negative 40. Now, your answer cannot be negative 40 because that x is alone. It's not adding or subtracting to anything. It's literally an angle or arc measure, so it cannot be negative, which works out because we have that negative 1. But just to make sure, in case you're checking your work as you go along, to make sure that it is a positive value if it is the measure of the arc. So let's get x equals 40. Now, another basic one. This guy, pause your video. Try it. This one you should be able to do. Arc minus arc divided by 2 gives me angle. So 145 minus, I'm getting excited, minus 63 divided by 2 equals our unknown angle. You can call it x or you can call it whatever that suits you. So 145 minus 63 is 82 divided by 2 gives me our x. So 82 divided by 2 is 41. So our angle measure is 41. So it's 41 degrees for that angle. All right, another fun algebraic one. Again, I challenge you to pause your video because this one's not too bad. Most of the math is pretty straightforward as long as you remember what to do. So we're going to subtract. So arc minus arc divided by 2 equals 34x plus 1. So not much different, but you just have 2 terms on this side. I'm going to multiply both sides by, well, we can just simplify this. It's going to be 70 divided by 2 equals 34x plus 1. You can distribute that 2 all the way through and multiply both sides, or we could say 35 equals 34x plus 1. Subtract 1 from both sides. That's going to be 34 equals 34x. And we divide by 34 to get it off the x, so x equals 1 for this guy. So x is going to equal 1. Last but not least, pause it, try it. Angles on the outside. Arc minus arc divided by 2 equals angle. Okay, so 14x plus 7 minus, and I use the parentheses because that minus does change everything about the second one, divided by 2 equals 3x plus 13. We're going to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the 2 in the denominator. Gone. And then this guy's by 2, so you want to distribute it. So I have 14x minus 6x minus 1. That's going to make that a negative 6x. That's going to make that a positive 1. So we just got rid of that. So 14x minus 6x is going to give me 8x. 7 plus 1 is going to give me 8. And then that 2 is going to distribute through 6x plus 26. Now you're going to solve for x. You can move whichever way you would like. I like to move towards positive x. So 2x plus 8 equals 26 minus 8. 2x equals 18. Divide both sides by 2. X is going to give us 9. So again, when the angle is on the outside, you subtract the 2 arcs that are intercepted, divide by 2, and you'll get that outer angle.